Welcome back to the Coffeehouse. Good morning. How you doing? You doing okay? I'm doing great. I'm actually teaching a class today, but I wanted to make time to spin the wheel and say hello to you. So let me do that. I'm moving my books more or less out of the way. Hopefully they don't get in the way here. And I've got my spinning wheel. You can see we've already covered a number of the cards here. So we're gonna give it a spin. You know what? These are really in the way. These are the books I use for my Advanced Certified Scrum Master class. But right now, what I'd like to do is spin the wheel. One of my favorite activities is just to spin the wheel to come up with different topics. If we land on a blank, we're just like this, we'll just go to the next one over. So here we go, give it a spin. Where does it land? Hey, is that the one that I was just on? Probably. This one says, Scrum for Beginners, which in the next 5 minutes is going to be very difficult for me to give adequate coverage of. Like I say, if I'm teaching a class, I could spend a full 2 days on teaching a class. But really, Scrum itself is easy. Or I should say, it's simple. That's one of the sayings that we have in Scrum. Scrum is simple, but it's not easy. What does that mean? Well, simple in that it's not a lot of rules. In fact, the Scrum guide that Scrum is based on, it gets updated from time to time, and right now it's only 13 pages, which isn't that much. It talks about all the different roles or accountabilities that we have in Scrum, the different meetings, the artifacts, how they all interplay, how it's based on this idea of empiricism, which is like giving transparency into processes, allowing people to inspect and have a case for adaptation going on. So Scrum itself is simple to understand. However, it's difficult. It's not easy, is what they say, because it requires a lot of courage and commitment, focus, openness, and respect. These are the 5 values of Scrum, and those are, as you might imagine, difficult to maintain a consistent high level at. And so Scrum being simple is great because we can all understand what it is, and it provides us a good, clear idea of the benefits that we can get out of it. But if you're not applying it right, if you don't have the values to back you up, then it becomes difficult to maintain. It's not easy. And so Scrum, putting that in place, is a good thing to do if you are working with products that are complex, a lot of variables going in, the processes that are not repeatable, but they change from time to time. They allow you to be adaptive so that you can provide the right business value, not just something that someone thinks of first without moving around and making sure it's the correct business value. You're getting feedback along the way. Scrum lets you check in with some set of stakeholders or customers consistently on a regular cadence, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it might be, so that you can get that very important feedback, and then you can course correct to deliver the right business value. I also think that Scrum is very useful when working with teams in the beginning, even though they may go off and use a different framework or a different method down the road. For example, if I'm working with a team that I feel is probably best suited for Kanban, or maybe just for traditional project management methods like waterfall, you might have heard that, I might still start them with Scrum just so that they could understand what Scrum is and what the benefits are. What are the mechanics of Scrum? What is the language of Agile? How do we use it? How are we trying to grow and use it as a tool for continuous learning, continuous innovation, that type of thing? Knowing that once they've mastered those, or at least come to an understanding, maybe 2, 3, 4 sprints later, then we might move into another area using a different framework or a different set of practices. But I think Scrum is a really valuable way to start when working with a team because, again, it is simple in that we can all understand what it is. Now, putting it into practice, that's where it takes a lot more effort on not only your part as the leader of the team, but anyone else who's working on the team as well. They need to understand what is the value of respect. We're all people. We need to see from different perspectives and understand that we bring different skill sets to the table. We are practicing openness, this idea that we're not trying to hide anything or work in private on something, but rather we're sharing information with each other. We're focused in that we're looking at one goal at a time or one piece of work at a time and giving all of our attention to that so that we can raise the quality of it. Commitment says that we together are committed as a team to this goal. We're committed to working together as a team. We're committed to using Scrum in this case and committed to continuously learning and experimenting along the way. And finally, courage. We are exhibiting courage to have difficult conversations, to make sure that we're having the right conversations at the right time, even if it might feel like we're going out of our comfort zone to have those conversations. You put all of these together, the framework of Scrum, the empirical process, and the values of Scrum, and package it up into something as short as 13 pages long so that we can all understand what it is, get that idea of what it is, and then we could start putting it into practice. Does Scrum have to be perfect right out of the gate? Not at all. But it gives us a framework and something we can build upon, we can iterate upon. Every time we come together for another session, communicating what's in our way, what are we trying to build, what does our customer want? We learn together as a team, and Scrum gives us a great foundation to do that. All right, now I have to get back to my class and continue talking to some advanced Scrum Masters. I hope that you've picked up something from this very short conversation about Scrum for beginners. I invite you to come back next time and learn more, share more with me. I love it when we can have a conversation. I know it's difficult over a video like this, but reach out to me any number of ways. And then finally, I would just like to remind you to once again, if you enjoy coffee, to enjoy your coffee with friends.